94.3 The Dude is very grateful to our men and women in uniform. We're proud to recognize local members of our military by turning the spotlight on them right now in our Soldier Salute.
Welcome to the Soldier Salute. I'm your host, Ethan James, and today we're going to be talking to the new Command Sergeant Major of Fort Jackson, South Carolina, Command Sergeant Major Philson Tavernier. Command Sergeant Major, thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for your service, calling in from Fort Jackson, the new Command Sergeant Major for Fort Jackson. Welcome. We're happy to have you. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your road in the United States Army.
Well, good morning. How you doing? My name is Command Sergeant Major Philson Tavernier, and first and foremost, I am a soldier for life. Growing up as a child, I had a very humble upbringing. I was born in a small little island in the Caribbean called Dominica. Oh, wow. And at a very young age of just 18 months, I lost my mom from complications during a tonsillectomy. So at which point, I was raised by my aunts and uncles, and you know the saying, it takes a village to raise a boy. That truly was the case for me until I turned 13, and at which point my dad moved me to the U.S., where we lived in Queens, New York. Upon graduation from high school, just like any typical teenage kid in the States, I found myself going down a path of destruction, just lacking any clear purpose and direction. So at which point I decided to walk to the recruiting station and ask to join the military. Now, with that being said, I'm first-generation military, knew nothing about the Army. I just knew I wanted to serve a cause greater than myself and stay away from getting in trouble. Now, during my first enlistment, I had the opportunity to naturalize and become a U.S. citizen because in order to continue serving past your first enlistment, you must be a U.S. citizen. So at which point I was granted that opportunity. It's been 24 years. I've been in the military for 24 years, and I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to continue serving. Now, you're married. I have a beautiful teenage daughter. During our off time, so my wife and I, our philosophy is all about making the best on wherever we are. And we're truly looking forward to embracing all of South Carolina and the city of Columbia has to offer and trying to figure out how we become part of the community and be added value to this community.
Command Sergeant Major, tell me, why did you decide to join the United States military?
I truly joined the Army to find a better way of life, to serve a cause greater than myself. I truly admire what the Army represents and what we do. As a professional force, we spend a lot of time traveling all around the world and just ensuring that everyone has the optimal quality of life that we expect human beings to have. And just that mindset and just that the way we operate as an enterprise, I really admire that. Fast forward 24 years, I've been all over the world. I've seen several cultures. I've met countless friends, and until this day, I still have friends that I reach back to, and I just wouldn't change it. It's been great.
The new Command Sergeant Major of Fort Jackson, South Carolina, Command Sergeant Major Philson Tavernier. Command Sergeant Major, you mentioned 24 years in the United States Army. What a time. When was the pinnacle point where you decided, this is it for me, this is what I want to do, this is who I want to be, when you decided that you were going to stay in the United States military?
I decided that, well, to be quite honest, I'm not going to lie. I never decided that I wanted to make this a career. And to be quite honest, I only focused on the assignment that I was currently doing at the time. And as time went on, before you knew it, I found myself at 10 years. And before you knew it, I was at 20 years, at which point I realized, hey, I guess I am a lifer. But it's been fun, and that's been my philosophy the whole time. Just focus on your current assignment, be the best soldier you could be, the best NCO you could be, the best senior NCO you could be, and whatever comes of that, just embrace it.
Command Sergeant Major, what do you think the biggest contributing factors to your success in the United States military have been?
So the two most critical contributing factors to my success has been graduating from Ranger School and then finding a mentor. And without a doubt, Ranger School is the Army Premier Leadership course. Although earning your Ranger tab does not define you as a leader, but it truly sets you apart and it broadens your aperture with endless opportunities. The second contributing factor was finding a mentor, finding someone that could provide you with raw and uncut feedback. Because I think it's important that we're able to identify a leader with leadership style that we admire, respect, and want to emulate. As NCOs, non-commissioned officers, we attend a lot of professional military education courses, but unfortunately, neither of those teach us how to serve as an exemplary leader. So I think it's important that we find a mentor that can answer questions and provide guidance on properly leading and developing our future soldiers. And lastly, I highly encourage other soldiers to develop a mentor and mentee relationship throughout their careers, because in order for us to continue this cycle to ensure our Army remains the most professional in the world, we've got to remain relevant, and we've got to pass all that knowledge to the new generation.
You are coming from a garrison command position. Now you will be the post sergeant major of Fort Jackson. Explain to me the differences and the difficulties between the position of garrison and post command sergeant major.
Although I think there are some differences which I have yet to truly understand, serving as a garrison command sergeant major in Germany is very similar as serving as a post sergeant major here on the state side. And the reason I say that is because in Germany, you have the garrisons are installations. There are small pockets of installations spread all across Europe. And as the garrison sergeant major, you're the senior non-commissioned officer of that entire installation. So I truly believe that serving as a garrison sergeant major in Germany prepared me for the responsibilities as the post command sergeant major. As the garrison sergeant major, you have the opportunity to fully understand and integrate, the various systems and services throughout the organizations. So in terms of differences, I think the biggest difference will be the sphere of influence and the ability to serve a broader audience.
The new Command Sergeant Major of Fort Jackson, South Carolina, Command Sergeant Major Philson Tavernier. The Soldier Salute has had the great privilege to interview the Fort Jackson Commanding General, the Fort Jackson Garrison Commander, and now, finally, the privilege to interview the Senior Enlisted Leader of Fort Jackson. Tell us a little bit about the job of a post-command sergeant major.
Well, first and foremost, that's a really tough act to follow. You talked about you interviewed the commanding general, you interviewed the garrison command team. That those two individuals, they run the installation. So I don't know if there's anything I'm going to say that's going to wow you. However, my primary duty as a post-command sergeant major is to serve as the senior enlisted advisor to the commanding general and to be a servant leader to every soldier, civilian, and their families throughout our community. I think it's important that everyone within the community understands that I am here to serve the community. And it's important that I set the optimal conditions for everyone here to succeed, from our new recruit trainees to our drill sergeants, to our senior leaders, to our civilians, and our retirees. Additionally, it's also my responsibility to ensure the highest standards and discipline are instilled and enforced across the entire formation. Discipline starts here at Fort Jackson. Additionally, it's also my responsibility to ensure the highest of standards instilled and enforced across the entire formation. We receive these recruits, brand new trainees from our communities from all across the United States, and it's important that they understand the standards and discipline that's expected of them as they continue to progress throughout the ranks, throughout the operational force. Last and definitely not least, I'll also ensure to keep a pulse in all our soldier and family programs to include safety and mainly the health and welfare of our soldiers and their families, because it's important that training continues, but it's important that we're looking out for their health and their welfare.
Command Sergeant Major, this is a big job. I'm sure you're excited to get to it, excited to start. What has been your favorite position up until this point in your 24 years in the United States Army?
Well, first off, I appreciate you saying that I am excited about this job, because I truly am humbled and honored for this opportunity. Serving as a drill sergeant has been one of my most rewarding assignments till this day. I served as a drill sergeant from 2007 to 2009, and until this day, it is still one of my most rewarding assignments. Drill sergeant duties require a lot of hard work and sacrifice, but at the end of the day, you get to see the fruits of your labor. As a drill sergeant, you're trusted with the responsibility of training and developing our nation's sons and daughters, and I think that is a responsibility that no one should take lightly. Our Army is an evolution, and it's important that we continue this cycling of the new and future non-commissioned officers to our training and adoption environment to ensure that the experience shared remain relevant. And what I mean by that is, as a trainee, you go through basic training. Upon basic training, you go to AIT, Advanced Individual Training. Upon AIT, you get to the operational force. While in the operational force, you'll have the opportunity to deploy. And I think it's important that we have non-commissioned officers that are volunteering to come back down in this environment to teach the new trainees what they were taught, so that way the information that we're pushing from leader to led remains relevant.
Thanks for joining us in our Soldier Salute, presented by Little Pig's Barbecue, serving Columbia since 1963 with that bodacious buffet. And Palmetto State Armory, American made for life. And Franklin Equipment, Rent, buy, rely. And Atkins Law Firm Workers' Comp Attorneys. Who you hire matters.